Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit of an 8-month hiatus since I've last posted anything, but in those 8 months I've been having a blast. I've been traveling, riding different places, riding new bikes that I've gotten, just doing all kind of great things here recently. Also, work's been keeping me pretty busy. But that's not what this video is about, even though I would definitely like to get back into posting because I got some new bikes, got some new gear, a lot of stuff I'd like for everybody to see, and also do a couple of reviews on. But like I said, that's not what this video is about. As you can see behind me here, we have the Hyper Carbon X, the carbon fiber Walmart frame in all its glory, stripped down. And why is it stripped down? I thought it was together. Well, it was together, as you saw in that video, the last video that I posted. It's stripped down because we're going to paint it. And yeah, there's plenty of how to paint bike videos out there. There's a few carbon ones that I've seen, but I kind of want to make my own. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint this bike simply because I don't like the green and I don't like the black. It's just, I don't care for it. And I reached out to the company of the paint that I use, and they said that it bonds to fiberglass, so therefore it should bond to carbon fiber, since basically sort of kind of the same. It's all fiber, whatnot. So here's the paint that I'm using. It is the Rust-Oleum Accents 2X paint and primer, and we're going to paint it a Seaside gloss. This is basically like a teal, like if you've ever seen a Yeti. It's basically that color. That's going to be the third color. The second color is going to be this white, and this is just a normal high gloss white. And what we're going to do with the white is we're going to have a base layer of white. That way I can put the stickers, the decals, back on here, and then paint over them with the blue, and then just peel the stickers off, and bam, there's the white. And then we're going to go over it with a gloss. So the sandpaper that I'm going to use is made by 3M, and we have a 600 grit and a 1000 grit sandpaper, and that should get us to where we need to be for a smooth surface for paint. So now that we moved a little bit closer to it, you can closely see that this logo here is a decal, and these here, the green, this is painted over. So we will smooth this with the sandpaper, this here as well, but we're gonna have to scrape this. And I know a lot of y'all are gonna cringe when I say I actually did it a little bit with a utility knife, but I did not gouge the carbon whatsoever. So we're gonna continue to scrape this off and the other side. That way we can prep it and get it ready to sand it. But won't that make the carbon fiber not strong and cause it to break? Well, that's funny you should ask that, Jimmy, because it's a Walmart bike, and I'm not taking it off big drops or anything. I'm mostly using this for around flat trails and really stuff to get a workout in. So it's not really going to take any stress or really anything like that. So I'm sure this frame isn't perfect. I don't know many that are, but if it breaks, then I guess it was just time for it to break. Okay, so before we get started on removing this decal, the tool that I'm going to be using is just a regular old Kershaw knife. It's not too sharp. That way, hopefully it doesn't gouge into the carbon. And it seemed to work great the first time, so this is what I'm going to be using. if you wanted to check that out. So, alright, let's get to scraping this thing off. I'm going to run this in fast forward for y'all. That way you don't have to sit there and watch me scrape away at it. Alright, and now since we got this side completely scraped off, we're going to flip it around and we're going to scrape the other side with the same knife. So don't get too cringe on this. I'm cringing myself doing it, and it's not too good. Okay, it's all scraped off now. Hopefully, when we get ready to sand, it'll take all that other stuff off. Okay, so now we're getting ready for the sanding part. And I did pick these sanding blocks up. They have 4 edges on them. This one is a real good edge, so you can get in those tight nooks and crannies. And this is a 220 grit. And I'm not going to use this a lot because I don't really want to take a lot of material off. All I want to do is just take enough, that way the paint is smooth on there, this green paint. That way just this green paint is smooth, and back here as well. I just want it smooth, don't need it raised up or anything like that. That way the paint will sit nice and flat on it. You won't see none of that old stuff. Also, I like to recommend PPE. Carbon dust, not too good. So always wear your PPE. I don't know how good it would be with having a beard, but some PPE is better than none. So let's get to sanding. Alright, that's getting nice and smooth there. We don't want none of the stuff to be raised up. That way the paint sits nice and flat. You got a good surface to work with. Use that edge to get in between right here where it's real hard. Makes light work of that. You still feel a little raised right there. Oh yeah. Sheet is nice and smooth right there now. I do really think that this is all raw carbon, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on the black, except for where the decal was. We're going to spend a little extra time there, but not so much time on the rest of the bike, because I do believe that it is raw carbon and that there's no paint on it. So we're just going to scuff it up for the paint's sake, to adhere to it. Don't mind my buckets falling off. $29er. Yeah, no kidding. So you can see we're definitely getting a good bit of the paint off. I still feel a little bump, a little raise right there, so I'm gonna hit that a little bit more. But so far, everything else is pretty dang smooth. Okay guys, now since we got the frame where we want it, it's nice and smooth, you don't feel none of the raised paint at all. Scuffed up the back here, got it real good and smooth. Since it ain't a 9-speed no more, we can't use that. Also, I want to bring the attention to the serial number there. So in this case, what I'm going to do with the serial number is I'm going to put a tiny little piece of tape over that whenever I get ready to paint it. That way, when I peel it off, you can still see the serial number, which is definitely a good idea if you're ever painting a carbon bike like this one. Just take and don't sand the serial number off, because some of them they're painted, some of them they're stamped in. Of course, I'm assuming some of the more higher end bikes, they're stamped in somehow. This one, it's definitely painted. So if yours is painted, just take and get a little piece of tape, put it over that, paint your bike, and when you're done, peel it off, boom, you can see your serial number. Keep track of it that way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to go wash it real good. And that way we get all this dust off, all the dirt, all the grime, all the grease off of it, and get it prepped for paint. So let's do that right now. All right, everyone. Now that we got the frame sanded, washed, and dried, we're going to let it dry overnight for at least 24 hours. That way we make sure there's no water in it whatsoever that can come out while we're in the paint process, moving it around or whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang it up by the head tube, and you can still see that there is a little bit of water left in there, and that's okay because we're going to let that dry. That's why we're going to leave it for 24 hours. So we're going to hang it up just like this, and we're going to let it dry, and then the next day I'm going to come back and we're going to tape all the little sections off for, say, the brakes, the bottom bracket bearing right here, the head tube. We're going to tape all this off. That way we don't get no paint in there and mess everything up, especially right here where your derailleur goes and all that stuff. So with that being said, that's going to be the end of this video. And like I said, I'm going to make this into sectional videos. The next one that you'll see is going to be, we're going to have it taped. We're going to tape it off, and then we're going to start painting it. And with that being said, that's going to be it for this video. And I hope to see you on the trail.